Welcome back. It's 9:17. Locally, we've seen some brutal murders and attacks related to domestic abuse, and it's a problem we know all too well here in the Mid-South.
And there is help out there for victims of domestic violence. We'll link to a website where you can get help, especially when it comes to leaving an abusive spouse. Family law attorney Miles Mason is here. Now, there you say, Miles, there needs to be a well-thought-out strategy, correct?
Right. The most important thing is to realize that the abused person needs to get away from the abuser as fast as possible.
Right.
Many won't, and they want to put together a plan. So that planning is very important. The people best in town to help with that plan are the folks at the Family Safety Center here in Memphis, familysafetycenter.org. They have some advice on their website about putting together that plan, but the key is to understand one very important thing. The abuser is most likely to murder the victim in that separation period.
No wonder no one leaves.
Not
no one, but no wonder you have to think.
The people who don't leave understand that their life is at risk, or they underestimate the risk. One of the two. 70% of all domestic violence homicides happen at this critical time of separation.
Wow.
Now, we've seen two pretty big murders here in town in the last month. The one at the daycare and then the one at Target, both of which were separated. And to my understanding, if I'm not mistaken, they even have restraining orders. So that's got to be alarming to somebody who says, oh, I'm going to get this restraining order and it's going to protect me. Is that always the case?
Once the victim gets into counseling, one of the first things they're going to get taught is do not go where the abuser can find them. If you can avoid going to work for a while, avoid going to work. Don't go to the places you used to go, like Target, like Walmart. Don't go to your parents' house. Don't go to your best friend's house. You're going to have to hide like you're a spy.
Wow.
How realistic is that for a lot of these folks, though? Because you can't just quit a job, for instance.
Well, what they say, step one, go to your employer. Explain what's going on. Ask for some time off. Ask for some accommodations. If you can't leave work, there are things that your boss and HR can help you with. Circulate a photo of the abuser. Make sure that there's a protocol for answering phone calls from the abuser. There's a whole string of things that can be done at the employer, but the key thing is to not underestimate the risk of being killed. Is a job worth it? Is your children's lives worth putting at risk a job versus putting at risk your life and your children's lives?
That's a good point.
Is it smart to include someone in on this planning? If you have this plan that you're talking about put together, do we need to tell a sibling or a parent or a friend so that they know what's going on? And
everybody needs to know about the abuse. Everybody needs to know about the protective order. If you are staying in a house with somebody else, you can go to the local police department, explain to them what's going on, show them the protective order, and ask for drive-bys. But there's still more that needs to be done. You need to turn off the cell phones. People can track those iPhones. They've got GPS in them. You've got to quit using credit cards that the abuser can look online and see where the charges are and triangulate your location. You have to act like a spy. You have to disappear, because your #1 safety option, your best option to keep yourself alive, is for the abuser not to know where you are.
Are there any studies that show how long a time period you need to do this before you can return to life?
No, that behavior can be elongated, it can be systemic, and I have worked with people who have moved to cities and moved to Memphis to hide.
Wow.
Yes.
So you really have to think this through very carefully. Squirrel away some money, perhaps, so that you have cash?
Absolutely. Always use cash to the extent you can. Put a stockpile as much as you can. But you got to understand, the reason for this is that the abuser believes he or she has nothing else to lose. They will dedicate every resource, every amount of energy to killing their spouse.
So take it just as seriously as Miles suggests. We will link to Miles' website so you can get some advice there, and we'll also link to the Family Safety Center where you can get this, download it, and then go do it.
This seems like something to not underestimate, for sure. Thank you so much for being here and sharing that insight with us today.
Thanks,
Thank you.
All right.